So another thing that really bothers me about Jaimie Dunphy, who is now the senior policy director of the Office of the Commissioner Fish, Nick Fish, Comish Fish, who blocks brain garbage that I run on Twitter, is that he doesn't seem to have any strong standpoint on the fact that the Portland police have hired a man who dresses up in Nazi regalia for the Portland police. So I don't think he's capable of deep cognition about the national security implications of having a white racist supremacist in the police force. And I think in a certain way that the FBI developed because small town police forces were incapable of bigger thought concepts in terms of investigation. So I am pleased that agencies such as Department of Justice or FBI or possibly other agencies or independent investigators are concerned with Portland's vetting process for their police officers. And the common motif in Portlandia is, oh, the union says we can't do anything because the union controls everything. But we kind of hashed this out, Cameron Stark and I, on Twitter the other day, that there is a civil rights law. Shut up, commercials. Come on. There's a civil rights law, there's Americans with Disability Act law. And so when you hire somebody who has a like a loyalty problem, there's no loyalty oath in Portland. They don't have any sense of integrity and deep security clearance of their cops on the street. They just hire whomever and they're like, oh, too bad you used to be a Nazi or white supremacist or whatever. That's not okay in a day and age when people are getting their throats slashed on the Portland streets. So it's too bad that Jaimie Dunphy has been acting like a sort of a henchman to silence the opposition. The opposition to Mark Kruger is composed of Jewish people and minorities and people who feel very severely discriminated against in options to access state services such as policing, which in a state of national tragedy or emergency, we should have access to police. And too often people don't feel that they have access to those services because of the irresponsible leadership decisions or failure to have like any kind of clarity of vision that is going on with leaders such as Nick Fish, who is a Libra, by the way, because I asked him. So we've got Nick Fish and I had a rapport at one point because I went into city council frequently with piles of paperwork proving that I'd been studying all this legal issues and human rights law, fancy stuff, and I'd hand that out. But things got pretty dodgy when I fell for Mr. Pickering and cared about his predicament of being blind, disabled, brain injured, homeless, abused by police, abused by everyone in his life, had just fallen away from him. So I became absorbed in that predicament. And when I went from being like a scholar to a family member advocate, I think things became kind of personal because Nick Fish was like blowing me off because the Portland police had now hurt my family member. So it was much more personal. It was less intellectual. And I think there's Chris. I like this guy.
President Trump has a magnetic personality and exudes
all
positive
in with
energy,
Chris
which is
Hayes.
infectious to those around him.
But
So
this Jaimie Dunphy guy, I've never met him. I wanted to talk to him on the phone. They don't answer the phones anymore in Portland. It's just like a voicemail kind of a government. I guess they might be getting slammed with calls after the tragedy on Friday. It's only Wednesday after the stabbing, and I watched some of Portland City Council today. It's kind of tragic. I offered my forgiveness for their brutality in retaliation against my whistleblowing and advocacy. That was huge. It just like really freed things up a bit. I felt very free to forgive Nick Fish. I even forgive Nick Fish for blocking me on Twitter. I think it's cowardly and reprehensible, and I think he's dodging the issue just like the Catholic Church, why he's got pedophiles in his photo opportunities. I think I deserve an answer. I think victims of child sexual abuse deserve an answer as to why Nick Fish is hiding this. I think we deserve answers as to why he can't offer accessible city council to people with disabilities, why physical violence has been employed against persons with disabilities at city council, why they don't provide ASL sign language for Philip Wolf. There's so many things we have to discuss, and Nick Fish just going block, and then sending his little henchmen to harass somebody who's been repeatedly arrested for being a whistleblower and speaking out at city council. It's stalking, framing, false allegations, malicious prosecution, stalking order. There's a whole elaborate setup. This James Dunphy of Portland, Oregon, thank God he's not the James Dunphy of Scotland, or there's other James Dunphys out there, but this particular guy who worked for Merkley and now works for Nick Fish, he set somebody up to be prosecuted on very serious charges when the originating instrument was based on perjury, including his own targeting of the person of Mr. Davis, who literally is like, I don't know who you are. Why are you in my face falsely accusing me of something? And I think that accusing someone who doesn't know you of stalking them is really
even in normal times,
disreputable.
is a vortex of,
so I wish
intense pathos and
that Nick Fish could get that sorted out, but seeing that he's promoted the guy, I guess he's got no, he's got some kind of value, or he's got some kind of protection he offers for Nick Fish. He went on the record with Amelia OPB, who kind of she became like the hit journalist who'd write the attack articles to attack the activists and the whistleblowers and frame them and defame them, including me, including other people, and be derogatory. She's like a very nice New England snob kind of a girl. She, very pretty, but she writes this hit journalism where James Dunphy gets to say, I'm a 6'3" white guy and I was afraid. And I'm like, why are you afraid exactly? Is it because there's criminal activities going on in your office and you're afraid that whistleblowers are onto your scent? The stench of corruption. They are afraid for a reason. So what they don't realize is they've got their story, but under the story there's a deeper reality that when they say, oh, I'm afraid of David Keefe Davis, maybe it's because David Keefe Davis is onto something in terms of being a truth teller, a filmmaker, a police brutality victim who is suffering their retaliation in the chamber, in the most vulnerable place. The most vulnerable and the most safe. But what's so wicked about Portland City Council is you would think that they would know all cameras are on, journalists are here, do not perpetrate here, take it to a back alley. But no, they are so desperate for revenge, and they are like so out of control in terms of their own PR that they will assault citizen, journalist, filmmakers in the city council hall. It's becoming like a brawling kind of atmosphere, and they want to get away with it. Then they want to shovel off more money to their friends, put more in their pockets, and smother and silence all of us who are unpaid, free citizen whistleblower volunteers, writers, authors, filmmakers, activists, artists, whatever. Silence. And a stalking order is it's just another piece of work, it's another instrument of control, but it is malicious, and it really involves the obstruction of justice, of the silencing of a whistleblower, of police brutality against Barry Joe Stoll in November 2015. And the attack on David Keefe Davis's person and mangling of his camera. There were other assaults that went on with Michael Cohen from G4S, and G4S is intertwined in this nexus of corruption because they are the corrupt agency that helps to enforce this
That is all
Junta,
in proceeding.
can
The
we
Rachel
say
Maddow
it?
Show starts now.
Let's see if that's the right word.
Good evening, Ari.
Good evening, thank you, Chris, and thanks to you
And
at home
maybe if
for
I'm
joining us
pronouncing
now.
it right.
Rachel
A
is still
military
under
or
the weather,
political
but she will be
group
back
that rules a
soon. We
country
have
after
breaking
taking
news
power
right
by
now for you,
force.
the latest development
Junta.
of the president
Yeah,
and Russia.
and
This
that
has
is
to do with
the
something
city
you
of
may remember,
Portland in a
those two
nutshell.
Russian
I haven't
diplomatic
been down in a long
compounds in
time,
the
but I
US,
follow up on their
one on
news.
the
It's like a
eastern
kind of a
shore of
guilty
Maryland, the
pleasure or
on
a
Long Island in New
sense
York.
of connection. I was born there, and I'm not too pleased with what I see.
Shut those two properties
But
down.
I'm trying to keep my
It was
head in
part
the
of their
clouds.
formal punishment of the Russian government for
Stay out of
interfering in
the
our election.
bloodbath
Along
that
with
it has
sanctions on
become
certain Russian
through their
intel
bad
agencies
leadership
and
decisions
companies
and
individuals.
letting the developers
President
overtake the
Obama
city,
shut down
letting the
those
neo-Nazi
compounds,
pile in on the
saying they
force,
believe
letting
the
the
Russians were also using
unbridled
them for
racial
intelligence purposes.
discrimination to go
And that
on,
all happened on December 29th.
harassing
The compounds have been closed
anyone who
ever
we are
since.
the allies.
But tonight we
Journalists
can
and
tell you it
citizens
appears
are
the Trump
allies of good
administration
leaders.
may
We
give
care
those
about the
compounds
truth.
here in
We
the
should
United
not be
States
harassed.
back to the Russians.
I like
The
Ari
Washington
Melber.
Post
I
reported
think that's
this
enough for
The
me.
White House is,
Guys,
quote,
so check it
moving
out.
towards
Nick
handing
Fish
back
on
to
Twitter
Russia
is
those
Comish
two
Fish.
diplomatic
Hit him up.
compounds. Quote,
Find out
any
what kind of
concessions from Moscow
extrajudicial
could prove
measures he's
controversial,
taking to
while
gag
the administration
whistleblowers,
and former Trump
and
campaign officials are under
check out his
congressional
friend Jaimie
and special
Dunphy.
counsel
And if you're going to
investigation
hire him
alleged
for a
ties to
job, I'd
Russia.
think
Now,
twice
this
because he's a
explosive story
bully and a
breaking late
liar.
this evening,
And that's not a
what we're
good
gonna
thing
do
to
here
be
is a
these
little later in
days.
the show, we're going to talk to one of the reporters